I think I will go ahead and start up what I want to do for tonight's KoiCast. So, the plan... Oops, let me make sure we're ready to go. Okay, so... The main plan, it's not really as podcasty again as the previous two, but the main plan is to go over and talk to you guys about my dream journal that I've been keeping for the past week and a half, because Zoma recommended that I do that for either a video or for a KoiCast. Keep a dream journal for a week and a half and then talk about it on said video or podcast. And I have been keeping track of my dreams for the past week and a half. So that's the plan, the main plan. Before that, though, I want to talk about sort of what I've come to decide through this past week of trying different start times. I'm going to resize this jar really quick. All right. Sort of what I've learned and what I've decided through the past week of trying different start times. And I've definitely realized that starting at 10 is way too early. So before I go into it, since I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and I'll probably put it on SoundCloud and iTunes as well once I have that all set up for the first two, since I guess this will be the third one, even though it's less podcasty. Welcome to the third KoiCast, which is a little mini KoiCast this week, as a little in-between for hopefully next KoiCasts 2 weeks from now, interview with a guest who I can't confirm just yet, but we'll see. But yeah, mini KoiCast time. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're having great evenings. I know most of you have been here, so I don't know why I'm saying that like I'm starting the stream. But I guess I've already talked about what I'm going to talk about as well, so I'm not going to say that again. What I will say, though, is that we started this week with going live at 10 and ending at 3 p.m. EST. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. EST. Brutality, 10 a.m. is 7 for you. Ended an hour before you even woke up. So, yeah, the reason why I even wanted to try 10 a.m. was because I wake up early. And so it was sort of like wake up, prep for stream, and then have the rest of my day to do stream-related stuff, channel management, work on a video for YouTube, or do this and that, other stuff that I could work on. But I realized that's kind of a horrible idea if all of the community that we've built up on this channel so far has been mostly between the hours of 3 and 9 p.m. EST. So, realized very quickly that was a bad idea. It was fun to try. Not a good idea, though. Then I tried 12 to 6. So 12 noon to 6 p.m. EST, which was not nearly as bad. Got some new people because of the different time, but still afternoon EST. It seemed like a certainly better time overall than 10 to 3. That being said, for the same reasons that 10 to 3 isn't the best, 12 to 6 is also a little too early. A little too early feeling. You're new here. What exactly is this stream? Doing a little podcastarino where I talk about my life and me. I don't even know. I shouldn't even call this a KoiCast, but it's that time of the month where I need to do a KoiCast. It's been 2 weeks since the last one, so I'm calling it a KoiCast. It's a Peppo stream. All right. So yeah, 12 to 6 still feels a little too early. It was also fun to try. Better than 10 to 3, that's for sure. So the other times that I wanted to try were 1 to 7 and 2 to 8 instead of 3 to 9. And also I wanted to try 6 to 12, which we did last Friday, as well as today we're doing 6 to 12. 6 to 12 feels good for once a week. Like 5 to 11 or 6 to 12 I could do every Friday. And that sounds fun, and I definitely want to keep that. But in terms of 1 to 7 and 2 to 8 and which ones I like, which one of those two I like better than 3 to 9. I don't know. Because I tried 2 to 8 yesterday. That was pretty good. I haven't tried 1 to 7. But I do think I like 2 to 8 better than 3 to 9, just because it's a better time for me every day of the week. 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. Non-stop, 24-hour, all the time. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. I don't know if that schedule is going to work with me, Critality. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. 12-hour streams. That would kill my schedule. Cashew would also hate that. That would not work, unfortunately. But yeah, 2 to 8 wasn't too bad. It's possible that next week I might try 2 to 8, Monday through Thursday, and then 6 to 12, Friday again. That may be what happens. We will see. 2 to 8 is definitely a Critality. I'm sure 2 to 8 sounds better for you than 10 to 3 and 12 to 6, and I guess 1 to 7 as well. 2 to 8 is pretty close to 3 to 9 too, so it's not that big of a change, which is good. But it's enough of a change for it to be better for my schedule. So we'll see. But for now, even though I haven't tried 1 to 7 yet, I think what I've learned from this week of trying new start times is that next week we'll do 2 to 8, Monday through Thursday, and 6 to 12 on Friday, just like today and last Friday. That's the plan. Critality, you didn't realize they've added a whole new button to the Coins extension telling you to install... Really? Are you joking? Maybe I need to refresh my stream. I don't think I see it. Hold on. Let's see. This is when this is uploaded in audio form. It's the most quality content. Why don't I see it? I'm not seeing anything about the bits extension, luckily. Let me see what you're seeing, Critality. Wow. Yeah, I don't see that. Tell KoiFishu. That's a little bit fucked. All right, so let me talk about this. Here's a podcast topic. So Streamlabs. Then I've talked about what I've learned from the past week of trying new start times and a little bit of the plan for next week in terms of my schedule, which I plan on being fully consistent with that next week. Stream every day. Stream labels is great, but and I'd rather use stream labels than stream elements. Stream labels I feel like has a better, or Streamlabs I should say, not stream labels. I always get that mixed up. Streamlabs, I feel like, has a better donation system. I feel like has better alerts. I feel like it's easier to integrate it with your stream. A lot more people are more comfortable using things through stream labels, through Streamlabs instead of stream elements. And it's good. I really like it. It's easy to set up. It's clean. The stream elements dashboard is not clean. It's confusing. Streamlabs is nice. Plus, Streamlabs has stream labels. Stream labels is cool. It's easy to use. It's easy to run in the background to have things like I have on the top of the screen right now, all the recent stuff. That's nice. And once Streamlabs OBS comes out of beta, they have that program integrated in Streamlabs OBS. They have the Streamlabs chatbot integrated into Streamlabs OBS, which is also a great tool. That's awesome. The problem is the Streamlabs chatbot is broken. And when it works, it's perfect and amazing and literally the best bot. But it's not quite ready to be used as a main bot. It's not even in beta, though, like Streamlabs OBS is. And similarly, as great as Streamlabs OBS is, it's still riddled with bugs that are, even if minimal, enough to make it so that you would want to restart your stream for this reason, or your stream shuts down temporarily. And when you're streaming, it's not the most comfortable thing to have to deal with that. You want consistent streams, and consistency feels good, and staying live for your entire planned time feels good. But Streamlabs, for whatever reason, is really pushing for all streamers and new streamers to use Streamlabs OBS. Whether you're been streaming for a long time or not, and most streamers use Streamlabs, the first thing you see now when you go to your Streamlabs dashboard, which basically every streamer has pulled up, is a huge banner telling you to use Streamlabs OBS when you shouldn't as your main driver. It's cool to test out while it's in beta, but it's been in beta for months, and they're pushing it, and it's still very much in beta, and they're pushing it so hard that it's weird. I don't know why, but it's like a weird feeling. I feel like they shouldn't be pushing it. I don't really have a solid basis to say why I feel that way, but I just don't know why. And I guess it's also mixed with, we talked about this yesterday, but how they're pushing that you can save up to 25% CPU usage if you use Streamlabs OBS over normal OBS. But you can't. If I switch my encoder to my graphics card, to the NVIDIA encoder instead of your CPU one, the 264 one, which you should use, then yeah, I'm not going to use as much CPU. But if I use my GPU encoder, I also need to up my bitrate to like 6,000 for it to look as good. And then that alienates a ton of viewers if you're not partnered. Which again, Streamlabs OBS is pushing this hard to new streamers. And they run that auto optimizer when you install it, which basically, unless you have a really bad GPU, is going to instantly auto-select your GPU as the encoder. And if you don't know how to manage that correctly with bitrate, and if you don't have enough good upload to be able to stream above 5,000 bitrate, which a lot of people don't have who want to get into streaming, then you can't take advantage of their save up to 25% CPU that they're really pushing. So I guess because of that, it just feels weird for them to push it so much. And then after me already thinking this and hearing it from other people, how they feel about it, and talking to you guys right now and previously about it, to then visit my Streamlabs dashboard and all of a sudden see a huge banner telling me to save up to 25% CPU, download now. The fact that it's in beta is an extremely small text, as if they don't want you to know it's in beta. They just want you to click the download now. There's something just as off-putting about it. And it's weird. And now, apparently, through the on-stream Streamlabs extension that a lot of streamers use as well, I use it because I like to have coins on my channel as a cool little thing. And it's a nice bit leaderboard to have in the panels under the stream. A nice loyalty points leaderboard and a nice bits leaderboard. Looks nice. It's a cool on-stream extension. You can gamble with the coins that you earn from watch time. But I should make some loot boxes for coins. And also I should program my own bot. I wish I could. You can buy coins for real money. Oh, but Streamlabs is going to take 80% of that, unfortunately. Which brings me to saying, as we brought up earlier on, now, apparently not for the streamer, unless I'm missing something, but I've refreshed and I've checked. So this is almost scummy in a way, not for the streamer, but for the viewers. It's telling, that Streamlabs extension is telling the viewers of the stream to tell the streamer to install the new Streamlabs Bits extension, which, from what I can tell, is it's the exact same thing as cheering bits normally on Twitch, except you can display an alert on stream, which I'm pretty sure you can already do with loyalty points if the streamer has that set up. I don't have that set up. So it's the same thing as cheering bits normally, except you display an alert on stream as well. I could be wrong on that, because I don't know what an alert postcard is. That's apparently what using bits through the extension gets you. And then Streamlabs takes 20% of that. So the streamer doesn't actually get the bits that are cheered to them like normal. And it's really weird that Streamlabs is all of a sudden telling viewers to tell the streamer to update their Streamlabs extension that's so widely used over Twitch by so many streamers, partners, affiliates, new streamers, to have them tell the viewers to tell the streamer to do that so you guys can share bits through it, where Streamlabs takes 20% of it. At the same time that they're doing the OBS stuff, it puts a really bad taste in my mouth when it comes to Streamlabs, which is weird because Streamlabs has been like not anything bad ever, really, from my experience until now. When a lot of people are raising concerns related to it, it's weird. I don't know how I feel about it. Fox, you were watching black screen. It's a little concerning. I would definitely refresh if you can hear me. Make sure to download more RAM. Yeah, update my extension, download more RAM. Got to do it. So anyway, I mean, Streamlabs is perfect and great. And obviously, you know, you don't have to download the extension. And if you read into what it is, you probably wouldn't want to download the extension. So that's fine. It's not like anyone loses, I suppose, from the situation, except for new streamers who just do it because their viewers are telling them to. That's really weird. Okay, yeah, that is a little weird, isn't it? If you're a new streamer and your viewers are, and you download one of the most popular extensions, and then your viewers are telling you, hey, your extension's telling me to tell you to update it so we can share bits through it, and then they make money from that. That is a little weird. I don't know how I feel about that. That doesn't even seem that profitable. Make sure to download the file named Not a Bitcoin Miner. I just gained an accent. Not a Bitcoin Miner.exe. Nice. If your usage spikes after installing, just ignore. As a built-in virus scan, sounds good, Catality. I'll download it right now. Also, Fox, glad it's working again. So anyway, I don't really know. I don't really have a final thing to say about that. I just wanted to bring it up because we're talking about it right now and it's happening right now and it's interesting. It doesn't make me not want to use anything related to Streamlabs. Certainly doesn't want to make me switch over to Stream Elements. Because I really like Streamlabs and I have everything built through Streamlabs. So, and I look forward to Streamlabs OBS coming out and I'm planning on using it. It's just all a little weird. Anyway, money is money to the company. That's true. They got to make money. I guess I mean, how does Streamlabs make money? Through credit card donations? Is there any other way they make money? Ads and credit card donations? I don't know if they make money any other way. I mean, they probably have sponsorships and stuff. So I guess they got to expand their way to make money. Which makes sense. I mean, it's understandable. It's just a weird way I feel like that they're doing it. I don't know, though. I don't really know that much about running a business. A business is free to use as Streamlabs. I'm sure it's complicated. I'm sure it's hard. And I'm sure they have good intentions while trying to make money. It's just a bit weird. Don't really have a conclusion on it. Anyway, wanted to talk about that. Streamlabs becomes a paid monthly service. Unfortunately, as much as I love Streamlabs, I would move over to Stream Elements if Streamlabs became a paid monthly service. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people would. I doubt that they would do that, though. I'm sure they know that people would stop using. If there's a free alternative that's just as good once you set it up, it's just that setting it up that's difficult with Stream Elements. Not to mention, Stream Elements has Capagen, which I use to have emotes bubble up on screen, but it doesn't even work correctly because it's not supposed to happen when someone cheers, but it does. And it's supposed to happen in a different way when someone subs from when I have it set in Stream Elements settings. Anyway, so there's that. Interesting stuff. $100 a month. $100 a month. God, that'd be insane. Yeah, Streamlabs would be Rippo if it was $100 a month. Anyway, Streamlabs is cool. Doing some weird things though. So, other than that, actually that's kind of the stuff I wanted to talk about and update on and bring up here at the beginning of this mini KoiCast. I also want to quickly say, network test is starting very soon for the Dark Souls remaster. It's not on PC though. I believe it's only on Xbox One and PS4, and I don't think Switch, since the Switch version got delayed. But May 11th, next Friday, a week from today, is the start date of the network test, so we're going to be able to see some more actual gameplay closest to what it's going to look like on PC, because Xbox One X and PS4 from the Dark Souls remaster, so I'm interested in that. We'll see if it looks as oddly ran through a filter and oversaturated-ish as it did on the gameplay trailer that came out. I hope it doesn't, but we'll see. Only 1,200 if you buy the full year, or sorry, 1,198.88 if you buy the full year of Streamlabs. You can pay in PUBG crates. PUBG crates. I forgot about PUBG. Where's Osu's Battle Royale mode? Osu Laser's got to step that up. Pretty sure Toho Osu, or whatever that was called, is no longer going to be a thing in Osu Laser. So they need a Battle Royale mode. And it's got to come out in 2018. Otherwise, I'm sure the Battle Royale craze will be over by the end of 2018. Maybe it won't. Who knows? Hey, I'm sure that when Black Ops 4 comes out, and that is its wonderful Battle Royale mode, that's going to just revive the extreme hype around BR as a genre of gaming. Anyway. Yeah, Dodge the Rhythm in CTV. Toho Osu does sound really cool, but yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't seem likely that it's going to be a thing anymore, but it could be. We'll see. There was one other thing I wanted to update on. Last KoiCast, 2 weeks ago, Chris and I talked about some of the AAA gaming state, about EA, about Bungie, about all that stuff. Lots of stuff that you guys, I'm sure, already know about, have already heard about. We talked about it last week. A quick little sort of update about that is also to how lots of AAA developers or publishers, Activision, EA, Bungie, all these people, talking about how single-player games are dead and how consumers generally don't like single-player games anymore and how it's all about live services and games that are infinitely monetizable. Luckily, since God of War 4 came out, which is a console exclusive, so it's very limited for sales, right? God of War 4, only PS4. Clearly, EA and all these other publishers are very, very wrong. Not that we didn't already know that, but a PS4 exclusive that's only on one console and is only single player and has no microtransactions is not only the best-selling PS4 exclusive of all time, but it's also generally selling as a game that's only on one console extremely well. It has incredible reviews. Completely single player. There's no live service. There's no microtransactions. But apparently people don't like single player games anymore. And we want things like loot boxes and microtransactions to speed up our gameplay. Who remembers... Like, God of War 4 is the kind of game that's going to be up there for Game of the Year in 2018. You know what's not going to be up there for Game of the Year in 2018? The Assassin's Creeds and your Star Warses and your Call of Duties. Those aren't going to be up there. Because turns out, people don't really like those. They don't really make a lasting memory. I mean, people buy them, and that's what sucks. If the mainstream gaming consumer purchases the newest Call of Duty, then it's going to make a shit ton of money. But that doesn't mean people don't like single-player games, and you can't make a single-player game that is profitable. And that's what big publishers have literally been saying as a way to justify their microtransaction-filled garbage. And now we have something new in 2018 to prove them wrong with statistics and numbers and money. And they care about money. So that's cool. It's possible. It's unlikely, but I want to be optimistic. It's possible that because of God of War's excess? Because of God of War's success, that we may see some slight changes in the focus of bigger publishers who have these really cool IPs and these really cool games that they have control over but don't do anything with other than easy to forget monetization machines. So we'll see if that changes the pace of anything. But yeah, a sort of little update sequel story to what I talked about, what Chris and I talked about last KoiCast. It's something interesting. I'm very, very glad. I don't have a PS4, which sucks. And sometime I am going to play through every God of War game on stream, but very glad to see that God of War 4 has fantastic reviews, single player only. Not that multiplayer is inherently bad, but no microtransactions, super good game. Feels good. Feels good, man. Fight back against Corporate Commander, Angry Joe reference. I still watch Angry Joe. I don't watch any of his videos other than his angry reviews, though. That's a YouTuber that's been around for a long time. That Egypt Assassin's Creed made a good few memes. That's true. We love loot boxes. I think EA, a bit ago, like a few weeks ago, some representative at EA said, we still think loot boxes are a fun way for consumers to earn in-game somethings. So dumb. Loot boxes aren't fun. Anyway, whatever. Glad to see that like Norway, Belgium, was it Sweden? I don't remember. Are all cracking down legally on that kind of stuff, though, like predatory monetization in big games that a lot of younger audiences purchase, even if they're rated M for mature or whatever. Glad to see that there's some stuff going on in that sort of area in terms of the monetization loot box stuff, not just avoidance of single player games. The legal action and uproar and controversy from that mixed with God of War's success and people obviously calling out EA and other big companies. EA is the easiest one to say. They got the shortest name. Poor EA, or not poor EA. They deserve the shit, but it's so much easier to say EA than it is to say Activision or any other word that's not just two letters. Poor EA. Oh, they fucked themselves. And the only loot boxes you will ever pay for, Rocket League crate keys. Nice. They're half right. It's fun for them, not for us. You like the Star Citizen model? Because it's like a Korean MMO. I don't know anything about Star Citizen. I was just looking around at some noises that Java's making. I don't really know much about Star Citizen, interestingly. I know it's something a lot of people are interested in. All right. So, all that news and update stuff done with and out of the way, we have about an hour, a little less than an hour that I'm going to be live, and I want to spend the rest of this mini KoiCast sort of moving away from the podcasty style and hop into telling you guys about the Dream Journal that, because of Zoma's awesome recommendation, I've been keeping for the past week and a half. It's been basically a week. So every night since Zoma recommended it, that was the night of April 26th, I've been waking up and writing down my dreams. And I guess an hour is a good amount of time for me to tell them. Sort of a story time for the next hour. So settle in if you're interested. They're certainly interesting. I can tell you that. I barely remember any of these, but I wrote them down in as much detail as I could when I woke up. There's like 2 of them that I didn't remember and didn't write like anything for, but all the rest of them I have a ton of stuff written down for. Some of them, a few of them have some stuff that I'll leave out because it's either a little too not safe for work for the stream or no, I guess that's it. That's the only thing I would leave out. I was going to say or more personal, but that's sort of the same thing. If there's any lewd dreams that happens to involve Cashew, those are left out. I did write them down in as much as I could remember them for the sake of getting that lucid dreaming effect. Writing down my dreams as much as I can, as much as I remember them, trying to see if I then, because of that, have more detailed dreams, have more vivid dreams, have dreams where I know I'm in the dream and can control what's happening. And I will say that it did work. I've only done it for a week, but holy shit. Write down your dreams, guys. You get some weird stuff. I dreamed of Big PP. Gachigasm. Hell yeah. No, I did not. And then there's one other part. I'll get to it when I get to that dream that I'm going to leave out because it was extremely disturbing. Nothing sexual, but there's one thing that I simply don't want to recount, and I didn't even write it down, but I vividly remember it, which is the worst part. I'm not going to talk about that, but I will talk about what's around it. I'm glad I've just teased you guys real hard by saying that. But I figure I should be upfront and honest about what I'm leaving out of my dreams that I've written down. All right. Brutality, you remember trying to lucid dream once? You ended up with sleep paralysis. That's not fun. Not sexual boo. This is a family-friendly stream and podcast. Come on, guys. All right. So, April 26th, 2018. By the way, apologies if this is all horrible grammar and incomplete sentences and things written in a very strange way, because all of this was written upon me waking up. Most of it's written decently well and understandable, but I think there were 2 mornings where I woke up and could not be bothered to write it in any significant detail. And those ones are going to be a bit weird to read, but entertaining in their own way. My dream had me apologizing about grammar. Now we're starting, though. Okay, so April 26th, 2018. I was in some sort of school. Now, I do remember this one. Writing dreams down is really weird because then you remember them as if there's something that happened in the past week, but they were dreams, not real life stuff that happened, so it's really weird. But thank Home Sweet Home. If you've been at the stream for a while, you remember me playing Home Sweet Home last October. And thank Dread Out, another garbage horror game, for me having the stream. So I was in some sort of school with a lot of specifically Taiwanese female students. For some reason, the vibe of it in the dream, and I knew this in the dream, apparently, felt familiar and similar to the games Dread Out and Home Sweet Home. Some quality garbage horror games that I believe are both Taiwanese. For whatever reason, specifically. I don't know why. These are my dreams. It was just me and a few other people in this school. It wasn't scary, though, in the dream. And we were trying to fit in with these schoolgirls, and we didn't understand why we were there. At some point, we were in the woods, though. Not inside of a school. We were in some sort of forest. All the trees were dead. I do remember that. And we were also then in a lake that was nearby the woods, in a speedboat, being chased by an alligator. But for whatever reason, that was normal at the school. Like a normal occurrence. But in the dream, it still felt like something was off. Like we knew that that was normal, but something was off that day at that school. Then I realized I had the dream before, I don't actually remember this now, but apparently I realized that I had that dream before, so I knew everything that would happen. But within the dream, I wasn't fully aware that I had control. I don't even know what that means. There was an assembly type thing going on within the school, so everyone had to gather together. And I knew within the dream that this was the point where a monster would come and kill my friends and I after the schoolgirls trapped us. I got a great dream to start us off with. So I tried to warn my friends, but they were trapped and killed while I managed to escape. However, I realized that if I died, I would respawn. I realized that if I died, I would respawn and try again. So I went up to the monster and got killed. I don't remember this at all. I went up to the monster and I got killed. And I respawned in my house, away from the school. This part's not safe for work, so I'm not going to read that. The end. All right. Oh yeah, I'd respawn real nice and good. I was like, oh shit, I can save my friends. Better go walk up to the monster. I don't even remember what the monster looked like. But what's creepy about it, it didn't feel like a nightmare, but I remember what the school looked like. And I remember what the Taiwanese female students looked like in the dream. And they had really big smiles in the dream. It sounds like a horrible nightmare, but it was not scary while having the dream. But when I recount it, and when I picture it in my head, and when I think about it, it's terrifying. Anyway, that's how I started. So I wrote that down. Very weird dream. I don't remember most of it at all, but I remember more of it now from writing it down. The second night, apparently I had no remembering of whatever dream I had. I literally wrote Rippo the End for April 27th, 2018. Rippo the End. It's apparently what I wrote when I woke up. So, April 28th, 2018. Here's what I wrote. Barely remember this one, but at some point, I was in a strange building and people were talking about this specific coffee. In the dream, it wasn't actually the mushroom coffee that I like. Exclamation point coffee in the chat. But at the same time, that's what these people were referring to when they said that the medium roast coffee was very bad. And apparently in the dream, I got upset because I really like the mushroom coffee. And I got very mad at the people who were making fun of it, but I couldn't get the chance to explain why the mushroom coffee was good. And it was very, very stressful. Then for some reason I was on a beach with Cashew, but I don't remember anything that happened after. I think we may have been looking for shells. It's a much more innocent dream than getting attacked by schoolgirls and getting killed by a monster and chased by an alligator. That was my second dream that I remembered. And so these they're all a bit weird. That one was a more typically dreamy, like just a random dream of some things happening. After this one is when they start to get oddly vivid. And when writing them down started to have an effect, I feel like, on the types of dreams I would have and on how well I would remember each dream. So April 29th, 2018. I didn't write a lot down for this one, but I remember it very vividly. I can picture most of the dream in my head, which is really weird. So April 29th, 2018. I was with Cashew in bed and brought her down some stairs in whatever house we were in to sleep on a couch. And it was very early morning. For some reason, I wanted to go back up into bed and listen to a specific Camellia speedcore song that doesn't exist in real life. I barely remember how the song actually played in my dream, but specifically speedcore and specifically Camellia. And for some reason, I needed to go back into my bedroom to listen to this song. So I went back to bed in this dream and fell asleep. Then I had a dream within my dream, and I knew that it was a dream within my dream. Wanted to listen to speedcore bass line. I remember it being good. I remember it sounding like Quicksand from the new album and a little like Ghost, but then it had a little bit of speedrun in there. So my mind somehow put those together in my dream. So I had some dreamception after that. And I woke up in that new dream in DC, Washington, DC. Except apparently in the dream, LA, Los Angeles, was located within Washington, DC. I don't know how that makes sense, but it made sense in the dream. So I was being driven within LA by someone in a car to go meet YouTubers. I just knew that we were meeting YouTubers. I didn't have anyone specific. And the person who was driving me on the wrong side of the road, first of all, and speeding through traffic to try to get me to these YouTubers. Washington, LA, basically. So we get to this little alleyway sort of thing by a building, an unfinished building that's under construction, covered in scaffolding. I can recount this very well. And so we park. I don't even have to read this. That's what's weird. This dream was like a week ago, and I remember it perfectly. We parked by this big building that was unfinished, and between the edge of the building and this fenced-off sort of drainage ditch, big field area, was a little alleyway. And within that alleyway was get your Monka S's ready and shout. Within that alleyway were all the members of Team 10. Which, I don't even remember all the members of Team 10 ever since the bullshit stupidness that happened last summer with stupid YouTube drama with them. And among these members of Team 10 were many soldiers with guns, large guns. Jake Paul, Critality. It's Jake Paul's group, or was Jake Paul's group. I don't even know what he does anymore, if that's a thing, but that was all over the place last summer, so I remember it. And there were a bunch of people with guns guarding them in this strange alleyway. So they brought me down as if I was like going there to meet them. They brought me down into that big drainage ditch, this basically big field with hills around the sides of it and then fences on the top of the field. So we were within this like big ditch area. And in that area, Jake Paul talked to me about his scientific discovery. This is my dream. I dreamed about this. I was in a big ditch with Jake Paul, and he talked to me about how he discovered how to make the perfect bowling balls out of coconuts, and how he was going to sell these coconut bowling balls as new merch. And I very vividly remember in the dream being like legitimately impressed. I remember how the bowling ball felt. These are the dreams I had after writing down my dreams for just a few days. I remember how the bowling ball felt, the coconut, because I put my fingers in it, like, you know, it has the 3 finger holes in the bowling ball, and I swear to God, I look at Jake Paul and I'm like, this is a good bowling ball. Like, it was good quality. It was a nice coconut. It was very strange. And so he's like, cool. And then he's got to do this big presentation to a giant group of people who are going to gather to come watch him advertise his new bowling ball products. Coco merch. And all of a sudden there's all these people and there's this giant presentation that's about to begin now that he's gotten my approval that the bowling balls are indeed good quality. And here's the weirdest part of the dream, guys. There's these more people. All of a sudden, there's tons of people. There's a big crowd. This guy, who I don't know, and I don't even remember what he looked like in the dream, but all of a sudden I'm in this area of the crowd where there's a few people around me and there's a table. This guy sitting on the other end of the table takes out a toy, a wrapped up toy, wrapped up in plastic in its little case like you'd find it at a store, like an action figure toy. But you had to put together the action figure, so it was sort of all the pieces, and you could see them all that you would put together to build one action figure. He took it out, and it was an action figure of Steve from Blue's Clues. If I'm remembering correctly, Steve was the name of the first host of Blue's Clues, If you know anything about Blue's Clues, I watched that as a kid. And the face of Steve, specifically Steve, the face of Steve in the little action figure pieces, because, you know, his face and his head was its own piece because he put it all together. Steve's face was horribly disfigured and covered in blood, and he was not happy looking. And that's where my dream, that's apparently all that I remember. And I had some weird fucking dreams. That's the end of that dream. I don't know how that related. Like, it all sort of fit together as one dream, except then it ended with this bizarre and disturbing imagery. I don't know. Isn't it weird? It's very weird to write these down and remember them as I'm telling you guys about them. It's very weird. So then April 30th, 2018, I don't remember it, apparently. I woke up, all I was able to write down, hello Java, was all I remember is a big grocery store with multiple floors that I was on. Apparently that's all I remember. Yeah, I've heard, Zoma, that when you start writing down your dreams and start remembering them more, it's common for a lot of your dreams to have some level of bizarre or disturbing content at some point within your dreams. Apparently it's normal. And I never realized that until I started writing them down. Even if you don't remember it, I should say. And I never would remember or know that stuff until I started writing down my dreams. That's what's weird about it. So here's May 1st, 2018. This is one where I woke up and just wrote down stuff and didn't really know. So this is going to sound horrible and like horrible to listen to. But the dream after this is some quality. It's like an essay. So this is literally what I wrote down word for word. Kidnappings of girls by family members, comma, meet up with large boy, comma, makes me a snack, play increasingly violent video games, including God of War 4. Tried to bake me something or give me some cream. I don't know what that means. Then we started watching Azer stream. Azer was playing in a tournament where there were increasingly hard maps that knock players out, and the last one standing wins. That's a cool idea. Manga S, some cream. Let me read this again. Kidnappings of girls by family members. Meet up with large boy. Tried to bake me something or give me some cream. But yeah, Azer was doing a tournament where you play, all the members of the tourney play increasingly hard maps, and the last one standing wins. That's kind of a cool idea. Anyway, that was in the dream. There was one map that I was watching them play that I really wanted to download, but I don't think the map actually exists, but I remember it was mapped by Mel. Mel has some cool maps in Osu. And it was 99.1 stars. So, that's all I remember from that day. That was one of the ones where I woke up and was too tired to be bothered to write down in a coherent sentence, and I don't remember any of that dream. Wait, what? Critality? Oh my god. Family-friendly strum. Delicious baked good. Azer cream. So, that was that dream. I barely remember. Now here's the essay. Everything changed in my dream journal on May 2nd, 2018. I've never had a dream this vivid in my entire life. I'm going to leave out some of the beginning. So now I was in this house with Cashew, and within the house there was a hurt fox and a hurt bee. There was a bee on the ground that seemed to be in pain. There was a fox on the ground that seemed to be in pain, and the fox was very small. The strange hurt bee was stuck within a container, like a little plastic container with a few pieces of broccoli that were in the container. I let him out of the container, brought him to the outside, and let him out. Upon going outside of the house, the fox that was laying on the ground inside and seemed to be hurt was outside all of a sudden. We saved the bee. So I went to go try and help the fox, and he got up and started walking. As the fox got up and started walking, with Cashew and I outside with it, it turned into a very large, angry fox. This sounds like a children's folktale. Turned into a very large, angry fox and began to chase us, and we had to run inside the house and close the door. I remember this all very well. It's very weird. After getting inside, we heard the bee buzzing again, and the bee went and hid behind a door where Java could see. Apparently Java ran and attacked the bee. He didn't kill it, though, from what I remember in the dream. But at some point, the bee got bigger and turned into a wasp with legs that were the length of a mosquito. Is that not the most pleasant-sounding bug in the world? A large wasp with legs that are the length of mosquitoes' legs? Is that not the most pleasant thing in the world? And I remember how it looked, too. It was horrible. It looked like a flying spider, but more uncomfortable. And you bought Boston cream pie today? Nice. Could be a video game enemy, actually. Alright, so then Cashew and I knew that we needed to go into the front yard, where we found that a storm was forming, and there was some sort of witch flying in the sky that was coming to attack us as some sort of boss battle. So, all my buddies and I, who in the dream were a bunch of guys who all of a sudden appeared that I didn't know in real life, and don't know in real life, all teamed up, and we formed together into a Megazord and proceeded to have a boss battle against this flying witch that was controlling the storm outside. And we won. After winning the boss battle and turning into the Megazord, the dream changed. I was in a dorm-type room with 2 other people I used to know in real life, and I think I knew that it was quiet hours and that we needed to go to sleep for some reason. But one of the guys in the dorm room is on his PC, watching, this is what I wrote, watching a very graphic animation that I remember in unfortunately vivid detail, probably the weirdest part of all of these dreams, and I will not describe it, but I will say that there was a large rat. What is Java doing? There was a large rat in the dream, and there were many small mice, and there were bees, and there were vines. That's as much as of a description I'm going to give of the dream. It's very weird. I watched an animation playing on someone's computer in my dream. I've never seen anything like this animation in my life. It was not Ratvor. It wasn't sexual in any way. It was horrifically disturbing, and I remember it in absolute full detail. I can sort of describe it a little bit. What's up, IG? Hope you're doing well. Think I might be your dad? I don't know about that. I think I'm a little too young. It was very bizarre. To describe it in a slight sense, though, the big rat that was within that animation I was watching in the dream died by the hands of the smaller rats, who also went in his stomach at one point. And then there were bees. I feel like I'm in PTSD. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway. You're 17. It's totally plausible. I would have had to started being a dad then when I was, what? Because I'm not even 20. I would have been 2 years old. Damn. Congratulate Koi on his beautiful boy. Anyway, so that I watched this weird animation in the dream. The other guy who was in the dorm with me was putting together an airsoft gun, and he wanted me to come out into the dorm hallways with him and shoot people with airsoft guns. Now, in the dream, this was an okay thing to do. Apparently, it was like a weekly thing in these dorms within the dream for people to have airsoft gun battles. I don't know why. But for some reason, in the dream, for hopefully a smart reason, I decided to not go out and shoot people in the halls with airsoft guns because I wanted to sleep, is what I wrote down. But the person in my dream went out in the halls and decided to start shooting people. I don't remember how it ended, but apparently that transitioned to something I remember also very vividly, Monovis, is that me and a few other people were anime girls for some reason in this new dream that this transitioned to. And this was all in the same night. I don't remember why I remember it so well. What's up, Landfish? Hope you're doing well. Anime Koi. Turned into anime girls in this part of the dream. This now seems slightly more like possible and understandable for me to have in a dream because I watch anime. So much of these dreams, it feels like they don't make any sense for me to be having. So anyway, twin tails and knee highs. I don't remember what I looked like, unfortunately, in the dream. I don't think I had a mirror, but I knew I was an anime girl, and I was with other anime girls who were also not actually anime girls, but stuck as anime girls, sort of like I was within the dream. Because also at this point, finally, after writing down my dreams for the past week, I realized that I was in a dream, and that I was actually asleep and dreaming, and that it wasn't real. Here's where it gets weird, not that it wasn't already. So me and these other anime girls were being chased by a ghost-like entity. We have the ability to travel through these portals that were laid around, that could be found on random walls, and our goal was to find the portal that leads us out of the chase and takes us out of the reach of the ghost. And when I knew that I was able to actually be dreaming and could control the dream, I also feel like I've had this dream before. And it's weird because I remember when I wrote this down on the morning of May 2nd or whenever this was, I remember I was like, oh yeah, I've definitely had that dream before. So I guess it can also make sense that I was like, oh, I'm definitely dreaming within the dream. But now I don't remember ever having this dream before. I remember it very vividly, though, reading it out. Portal 2. I do have a cat. He's a good boy. Jaguar. Fox, when you play VR, you look down and see tits. He is best boy. So yeah, each portal could lead us to a different dimension. One took us to a world made of Legos. One took us to a world where we weren't anime girls. But the entire time we were being chased by this strange ghost. And it was really stressful because I knew I was dreaming. I knew that it was sort of like a game. And I knew that what we had to do. But we were still getting chased by this ghost. And I knew we had to do something to get away from it. I also knew that it didn't matter if we got caught because we would die and respawn. That's sort of like that earlier dream where I knew if I died, I'd respawn. And multiple times within this dream, I got caught by the ghost and died. And we respawned at like the previous portal or dimension that we went in. Definitely had this dream before. Already said that. Was it like Scooby-Doo and I trapped the ghost? And it's actually Ginger. Unfortunately, no. But it did get close to that at the end. I'll get to that in a moment. So yeah, I realized that I was dreaming. I still wanted to beat the game, though, and still wanted to escape the ghost, because the previous time I had this dream, I couldn't beat the game. I also wrote down, this is the first dream in the past week of writing these down where I knew I was dreaming. Okay, I already said that. So, we were running from the ghost, and eventually we found a portal that leads to a, in quotes, because this was on a sign above the portal, very not safe for work or kids area, and we need to be 18 or older to enter. So we entered the portal, which led us to a little hallway. I remember this very vividly, and it's really weird. It led us to a little hallway where a voice like on a speaker said, "This is definitely not for kids." And I remember the voice that said that was extremely high pitched. There was an extremely high pitched voice that said, "This is definitely not for kids." Ali, how can I remember this? This was all written down. This was written down after a week of writing down my dreams immediately after waking up. I've never been able to recount a dream in this level of vividness before keeping this dream journal. It's amazing. It's really weird though. IG, you had a dream once where you were a fire hydrant? Nice. Quality. Pull a Subaru and die a horrible death, respawn thinking it's a dream, but remembering it super vividly. It's a little spooky. I don't like how vividly I remember this. Not that it was like a bad dream. I don't know. So yeah, we get through this hallway. Voice says this is definitely not for kids. There was nothing bad though. We were brought to the front door of a small apartment, and within that apartment was a guy and a anime girl maid. The guy was like a real human being, but the anime girl maid was like a anime girl, not 3D. They were very nice when greeting us. And there was a portal within that apartment that led to a different house. But unfortunately, I don't think, this is what I wrote, unfortunately, I don't think I ever saw what was super not safe for work within that portal realm. But I feel like if I have this dream again, then I will go try to check out what is in the not safe for work portal realm. So I'll update you guys as I continue this dream journal if I have this one again. That would be really, really weird. But if it happens, if I had returned by death power IRL, would I use it? Probably not. I don't think I'd want to die. Basher, I gotta see what you're about to ask before I continue this. Let me find where I was, though. This is all written down in such small text in this note app. Okay. Chris would dream about a talking body pillow. He probably would. He probably has. I mean, I might have at some point in the past. Chris doesn't actually have a body pillow. I'm kind of surprised. I feel like he would. I do not. Okay, so yeah, we got into that apartment that was apparently super not safe for work, but we never spent any time there because we immediately took another portal that led us to become normal people, no longer anime girls, within another small house. Within this house were some people who we needed to help, like with housework. So we did some housework, some cleaning, and then found ourselves in a large school cafeteria-like area that was connected to the house, with some people that I actually used to know in real life. One was working with another on a YouTube channel, and a few were just sitting down and chatting and eating lunch. In my group, who were previously anime girls, were discussing where we could go next to escape from the ghost who was still chasing us, because within the school cafeteria, we couldn't see what portal we could enter. This is weird. I don't know why. This is the weirdest thing to read out. So we had an hour. Oh yeah, I remember this. We had an hour. Like we knew we only had an hour to find this portal. And within the dream, it actually felt like an hour in real life passed. Like it felt like a long time. At the end of the hour, the people who were working on the YouTube channel amassed 18 million subscribers, specifically from nothing. I don't know why. And the group who I was with sat down with some of the people who were eating lunch to see if we could find any clues for where the portal was. We couldn't find it, but the ghost came and started chasing us, so we had to run. We found a strange hole in the ground and entered the hole. But after entering, we woke up unable to move in the grasp of different anime girls. I don't even remember. Is that what you'd use return by death to help other people? Like if someone gets killed by a car, you'd go back to save them? Oh, if you had that power, that'd be nice. But yeah, dying would not be fun. I don't remember who was I just remember them being anime. No, wait, that's not true. One of them was, I've never watched Pop Team Epic, but one of them was the taller character from Pop Team Epic who was trapping me in my anime girl comrades. So we were paralyzed while we were trapped. We couldn't move. We weren't like tied up or anything, but we were just paralyzed and couldn't move. We were told by the anime girls who trapped us that we would be killed for trying to beat the game. Pretty sure death hurts, yeah. It definitely does. Important statement, though. You'd use return from death to undo your CVCC plays. Nice. So we were paralyzed by these anime girls, told we were going to be killed for trying to beat the game and run away from the ghost. But somehow, me and 2 others were able to get up and run away before being killed, while the others were killed. We found a portal, and we ran into it, taking us to a strange building and separating us from each other. As soon as I found myself in this building, I heard a what? A sound question? That's got to be a typo. I heard a sound question or something that... Oh, a sound cue. I heard a sound cue or something that lets me know that the ghost is going to come get me. So I had to run away, but I knew that I was close to the end of the game and that it was going to be really hard to find the right portal to enter. All of a sudden, I was within a room filled with portals on the walls. And if I didn't take the right portal to escape, it would lead me basically in front of the ghost and I would get killed and have to respawn and try again. And I did. I got killed many times, and I remember it as well. But there was no pain or anything. It would just be kind of the ghost grabbed onto me, and then I'd be back in the room with the ghost chasing me, and I had to try a different portal. But apparently that was being killed in the dream. So there was a lot of trial and error, but eventually I found the right portal, and it took me to a field where a bunch of students were playing tennis. It was more like a school tennis court type of area, and there were a lot of students, and for some reason I was one of them all of a sudden. And I had to play tennis, but I was really bad, and it didn't go well, and I was stressed because I wanted to complete the game, and I didn't want to wake up before completing the game. There was a mini golf course nearby with a ton of that super chemically looking blue water that's around mini golf courses, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And all of a sudden it started to flood the golf field. So for some reason, all the students, including me, had to gather together in this corner of the tennis court. And the water that was flooding the golf field was moving super slow. Like lava. Like very slow flowing water. That holds no importance. I just remember that from the dream. I knew I needed to find a way to get out of the portal realm that I was within and finish the game. And somehow I did, but I don't remember how. It might have had to do with going into the water that stopped moving or hopping over the fence that was nearby, but either way, I was now close to the end of the game, and I had definitely seen this before in a dream. There was a giant plant monster on a large, disheveled street, and I was on a sidewalk in what seemed to be a city overrun by plant matter that was giving off a green smog. Why do I remember when this is really weird? This is the most vivid recounting of a dream that I've ever possibly been able to do in my entire life. It's really weird. Basher, the only dreams you remember really vividly were from when you were like 7. You know, interestingly enough, Basher, I have 2 dreams that I remember vividly from my childhood. That's also weird. But they were recurring as a kid. Kids have more recurring dreams, apparently. The human mind is very, very, very weird. The human conscious and subconscious is fascinating when it comes to dreaming and how you can have reoccurring dreams and remember. It's very, very weird. Some of the last dream you remember was where you moved to Korea and climbed onto a moving train. Interesting. Okay. So there's this giant plant monster on the side of the street. I watched the plant monster come alongside some animal that was moving on the sidewalk I was on, but the animal was further ahead of me. So the plant monster comes up to the animal and ate the animal. For some reason, that told me that I needed to be very slow and sort of like crouch as if in a game and be slow while going by the plant monster and not make any noise. Otherwise, he'd kill me. I also knew that I would respawn if I died by the plant monster. I typed this out in all caps. So for whatever horrible reason, that was in all caps, I went up to the plant monster. Oh my god, I do remember this. Bash, I'll read yours in a moment. Okay, guys, get ready for this. Oh. Why did I censor the other thing that I wasn't going to say, but I didn't censor this? So, I guess I didn't see what happened to me. The other one I saw as an animation. Anyway, I went up to the plant monster, knowing that if I died, I would respawn. But in the dream, I was interested to see the death animation for the plant monster killing me. So it had a strange spiky mouth, and the plant monster bit my hand. And so I knew in that moment in the dream, if I moved, the plant monster would kill me. If I stood still, then it would go away. So I wanted to see that death animation, though, so I then took my fist out of its mouth and punched it. I wrote, "This is likely the worst thing that's ever happened to me in a dream. But I proceeded to have my legs slowly torn off, one by one. And then, after falling on the ground and having my legs torn and eaten, and I could see my bones, because it like tore off my legs, but some bone was still hanging out, I proceeded to have each of my eyes, this was all viewed in first person by me, I proceeded to have the spiky mouthed plant monster eat out each of my eyeballs. After that occurred and I could no longer see, I was fully eaten the rest of the way and died and respawned. And I'll answer your question right now about if there was pain. What I wrote, I found my... Oh, wait. No, that's after. I don't remember it hurting, but I do remember it maybe tickling a little. Either way, it was a horrible experience, but in the dream, it didn't seem that bad. So there you go. I respawned and proceeded to crouch slowly and avoid the plant monster. And I found myself in a mix of every portal dimension that I had been to thus far. And there were some people with a quest marking on them. This is when it turns into a very, very video gamey. So I had to go up to the people with quest marking on them and talk to them. Unfortunately, though, this is what I wrote, the ending sort of sucks for this dream, because I don't really remember what happens next. But I figured out there was something that I missed previously in the game, so I couldn't finish it. And I woke up in real life soon after. My final conclusion was, this whole night of dreams was super vivid compared to the others, and I wonder if that's because I've been writing them down? I still have 2 more nights before I talk about them on stream, so we will see. The end. So, that was the most vivid dream I've ever had in my life. And for some reason, I remember after waking up from it, I was like, I'm definitely going to have this dream again. And again, if I do, I'm going to update you guys for sure. Because that would be so insane. That's like next level content to talk about. Surreal, subconscious dreams that I write down. My god. Anyway, there's still 2 more dreams. These are the last 2. Neither are nearly as vivid as the previous one. Can we get a fan game of that dream? It honestly could... It could turn into a pretty cool horror game or something. Like, it wasn't even that bad, but it was a mix of so many different games and some other properties in there, like Lego, that there'd be some copyright issues, unfortunately. But who knows what'll happen in the future. Oh, Basher, yeah, your dream. What happened? In your dream, you were 7 in your room. You realized there were dinosaurs in the house, so you ran out of your room really worried. You saw your mom calmly ironing the bed. That's all you remember. Who irons beds? Nice. Lego's an easy bypass, that's true. Alright. It's getting late. Holy shit. It's almost midnight. 2 more dreams. May 3rd, 2018. I had a few dreams before this one, but I don't remember them. I did, however, have a dream where I was in a school type of building that I've never seen before. It was really huge, and in the dream, it was like a campus, except it was all interior and there were no outdoors, like one giant compound. I was just inside and didn't really know what I was doing. Oh my god, yeah. This one was weird as well, because this is very hard for me to explain, so sorry if I sound dumb. But this one, I didn't know I was dreaming, but you know how sometimes if you have a dream, you go along with it. If you don't know that you're dreaming within the dream, and you see a monster, you're going to run away worried. If you're in a school where you're about to have a test, you're going to sit down and take the test in the dream. If you do know that you're in a dream, then you can have some control over it and decide what you're going to do. This was extremely bizarre because within the dream, I couldn't tell if I was dreaming or if it was real. And so I just kind of stood around confused for the whole dream while stuff was going on. I was in a school basically, and it was time to take a test, and I was late for this class. But I just kind of didn't go to it and was confused because I was trying to figure out if I was dreaming or not. And a friend came up to me who I have known in real life in the past, and he told me that I needed to go to class because I was late. But I was super confused feeling, and I don't think I even answered, but he walked away and went up a staircase, so I followed. When I got to the top of the staircase, I couldn't see him until he came out of a classroom door, and he seemed extremely happy and excited. He said the class had already started, and he had to call the teacher before going into the class to let him know that he'd be late, because if he called, then he'd be excused for being late. So he asked if I was going to come into class with him again as well. He again asked me, extremely happy. He had a huge smile on his face. And I was just standing there really confused and not answering him. And what I wrote down is that that's kind of all I remember, but it's weird because normally in a dream, I would participate and be involved and be stressed, but after that one super vivid dream, this one just had me confused and not really understanding. Now, again, this is what I wrote. Now I want to remember the other dreams of my night to see if they were similar. I never did. I didn't remember any of the other dreams that night. Which brings us to the final dream, which is last night's dream. Fox, fun fact, brains have a hard time with keeping words consistent in dreams. Interesting. That is interesting. I want to look up more about dreams now. I'm going to continue this journal. I don't think this isn't going to become a podcast segment, because this has taken like an hour, and that would be so much of every podcast, but I might start doing little once every 2 weeks or maybe once a month videos to talk about these, because they're really interesting. So here's last night's dream. Once a month. Once a month would be weird, because when I look at when I read the dreams from like the beginning of the month, I probably won't really remember it all. That'll be weird. We'll see. All right, so last night's dream. I was in my bed. No, I was in a bed with Cashew, and the door to the bedroom that we were in was open. And I knew that we were within one of my friend's house. And for whatever reason, we didn't want to be seen by my friend. We didn't want him to know that we were in his house. He ended up coming in the room, and he couldn't see me. For some reason, I went and hid, but Cashew stayed in the bed. He was confused and left, and we got up and somehow made it out of the house without him seeing us. And then things transitioned to some giant mansion type building where we were going to have some big dinner with a bunch of random people after getting a tour of the mansion. The tour didn't last very long, but I remember that the ceilings of the mansion were super high, and it was uncomfortably open and spacey, like a big open space, and for some reason it made me really uncomfortable. When it was time for dinner at the mansion, we and everyone else within the mansion had to go to a very long table with a bunch of seats around it, and there was a meal on each seat. And the thing to do was you had to find where your meal was and go sit there. We weren't told what meal we were supposed to go find, though, so we ended up leaving the mansion. Then the whole dream changed after walking out the mansion's door to me and two friends of mine, who in the dream were my friends, but I've never actually seen them in real life. We're in some sort of toy store. And in the toy store, we found a Guitar Hero-like game on display that we could play, like, within the store, but we didn't play it, because next to the Guitar Hero game was the Lego section. And for some reason, we went to the Lego section, and within the Lego section, we found really, really old, hard-to-find Lego Star Wars sets that I knew were worth a lot on eBay. And in the store, the sets were $160 US, and I checked on eBay, and they were $480 US. So I was going to buy them from the toy store and resell them and make bank because they had a bunch of them in stock. I specifically remember the pricing, $160 in store, and I could sell them for $480. So I grabbed a bunch of them to buy them, and I was going to resell them. But apparently that's all I remember. This one was decently vivid. And yeah, I do remember like all of this. It was last night's stream too, so I remember how the mansion looked. I remember how the toy store looked. In fact, the Guitar Hero game that was set up wasn't even like a guitar. It was a double-ended guitar. I don't even know how to describe it. And it had flames all over it. But apparently it was Guitar Hero in the dream. I think that's all I remember. This one was decently vivid, but I definitely didn't know that I was dreaming when I was in it. And that is the end of my dream journal of the past week and a half. Of all the dreams I remembered after waking up. So there you go. That is a week and a half of my dreams. With the one very, very vivid dream that lasted a super long time, where I died many times. Very weird. Fox, I could do an entire stream with 1 month. 2 weeks is a weird recap period. Yeah, an entire stream. That would be kind of cool. I don't think that's been done before. That'd be cool. Once a month dream recap stream. That'd be kind of cool. That's not a bad idea. We'll see. But yeah, I didn't really have a good way to conclude all of that. Other than it was interesting and dreams are weird and sort of things that I've said between each dream story. But huge thanks to Zoma for recommending me to keep a dream journal. I'm going to continue this for sure. I don't know when the next time is that I'll talk about them on stream. It definitely won't be within a KoiCast. But in terms of this being a little midway KoiCast between the last one and the next one and having a little mini KoiCast, I'm glad I was able to tell all of those. Critality finally killed the mosquito. Feels good. Feels good. Poggers. So yeah, maybe I'll do a big stream once a month for these. We'll see. But that's that. Vitality grabbed them out of the air. Nice. Very nice. So I'm really tired now. I think that covers everything. It's about midnight. It's 11:50 p.m. my time. I woke up super early as well, so I'm very tired. I'm going to go to sleep like right after this, after I grab something to eat. Critality looked pretty cool, if you say so yourself. Awesome. Nice. Like ninja. It's been a good stream, though. It's been a good KoiCast, and for the sake of this being uploaded in audio and video form, I'll say that I guess that's where I'll end this KoiCast. And it was a pretty good time. Got to recap what I've learned from the week of trying new start times. Got to talk about some news things, some Streamlabs stuff, some AAA gaming realm related stuff. Got to talk about plans for next week, and got to spend almost an hour, the past 50 minutes, recounting my dream journal. That was good. That was a good little... It's not even a mini KoiCast, it's just a weird KoiCast. It's still been almost 2 hours. So, That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I hope everyone who listened enjoyed that as well. I had a fun time recounting all of that stuff. And the next KoiCast will be 2 weeks from now, I suppose, with hopefully a guest to interview. And that's the plan. But for this one, it's been super good. This will be uploaded to YouTube on Monday. And very soon, hopefully next week, next week for sure, actually, this one, as well as the first 2 KoiCasts, are going to be able to be found in audio form on SoundCloud and iTunes, and I'll talk about that more when it happens, but that's the plan. And very fun to listen in the BG. Glad you enjoyed. And that's the plan. I think I'm also going to upload, finally, I talked about this a while ago, my Doki Doki Literature Club playthrough to YouTube, because why not? It's 9 hours of me voice acting. So, since that's been just sitting in my Twitch highlights for the longest time, since October, since that game came out, I might as well upload it to YouTube. So if I find the time to, because it's going to take me just not being at my computer for like however long it takes for Premiere to render or export a video that's 6 hours long and then another one that's 3 hours long. Assuming I'm able to do that this weekend, I'll upload those sometime randomly whenever I'm able to. Other than that, though, it's been a good KoiCast. Next one 2 weeks from now, and uploaded soon. It was good. And I guess that's around where I'll end it, audio and YouTube video wise. But for you guys all chilling and watching right now, it's been a really, really, really awesome and fun Friday evening, I gotta say. Switching games, BRB. That was a really fun stream.